All right, you're now live.
We are now live. We are now officially live. It's now 9
Correct.
p.m., everyone. I will be the doorman as you have commanded me, Mr. Master Jason. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming in early. So we are starting soon. Yeah, our Jason is here.
So exciting.
It's excited to see people coming in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ah, hi Kevin. Hi. Wow, nice. People
it's
are
a
really
lot
coming in.
different than when we're doing live in
Yeah.
FB and we don't know who is coming, who is watching. I am so glad to see all of you here, even though most of you are hiding your faces. Admit, you all admit, admit. Oh, Ilham, what a familiar name.
Hi Ilham, welcome.
Hello.
We should be starting in 4 minutes time. Let's give another 4 minutes for our other friends to log in. I heard there's a jam at the door because our door woman Nur Hadia is very strict with the SOPs.
I'm not wearing my mask. Oh no. Eh, oops, oops. I will also check the. Yana, are you in the Google? You already started the one in FB. Okay. Yana, you're also in the Google Meet, right? Can you also promote or remind people in the WhatsApp chat, the live lighthouse one?
Hi Nur Hanis, not Hanis. Hi Amira, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lighthouse Show.
This is the first time you see all three of us at the same time.
Yeah.
The last time you guys saw my talking about rape culture and Jason was the moderator. But did you know I was actually in that lighthouse show as well? Hidden. I was the one controlling everything. If I wanted to remove Jason from the screen, I can. I can mute them all. I had that power. That was
Yeah,
me.
yep, you always have the power. Today you have the power as well.
Yes.
Hey, hi Arfi, Arfi from World 10.
Hi, coach.
Hey, hi, good to see you again. Now
Oh,
you have horns already, Arfi.
wow.
1 minute to starting.
There is some familiar
Welcome.
faces I see here. Hi, Hussein. Hi, Norliana, Asrin.
Oh, so many people are coming. Ah, so excited. Also very, very terrifying.
Mai, I think for tonight's show, you control the slides.
Sure.
All right, it's 9:05. Shall we start, ladies?
Sure. I don't mind.
Okay, good evening. Salam Sejahtera. My name is Jason. I'm one of the trainee counselor at the Student Guidance Unit in Uni 10. Although now you are seeing us not signing or not actually presenting from Uni 10, we are presenting from our homes. And myself, I stay in Bandar Utama, Petaling Jaya. Tonight, I have the pleasure of two of my colleagues working together, three of us, a threesome, right? Somebody like to call it, to help you guys prepare and perform and ace your final exams. This is something we specially designed just for Uni 10 students, not really for the staff, but for the younger people, the Uni 10 students who will be facing your finals in about 2 weeks' time. I believe so. And yeah, I heard that your finals will go on for about 2 to 3 weeks. So if you are not stressed already, I am already feeling the stress on behalf of you. Let me firstly introduce my teammates for tonight. First of all, let me welcome Mai Sarah. Mai Sarah, our trainee counselor.
Hi.
Mai, where are you logging in from?
Logging in from. What does that mean?
Where are you right now?
I'm in Putrajaya.
Putrajaya. And then we'll also have Nur Hadia.
Hello.
And Hadia, where are you right now?
Puchong. Pusat Bandar
So
Puchong.
So we are many kilometers apart. And I'm sure all of you are actually logging in from different places. I believe some of you are northern Malaysia, some of you southern, some of you central. But we are all together. We'll spend together for 45 to 55 minutes. And I'm sure that you would have some curious questions already in your mind coming into this session. What we share might not be able to answer your exact questions, but we have prepared a 10-minute Q&A, question and answer sessions right at the end before we say goodbye. So if you have any curious questions, by all means, on the side, there will be a comment section. Pop your questions in the comment section. One of our teammates behind the scene will compile the questions and we will get back to you with our best possible answers. What we promised is sincere, heartfelt sharing to help you out. What we cannot promise is we can solve all your problems because personally, I believe that problems is part and parcel of our education. If we don't have problems and no stress and no challenges, we will never really grow. We don't grow by mugging the books. We grow by overcoming challenges. All right, let's get started. First and foremost, thank you once again for coming in early, all of you. And we are so happy to see you. Let's get on started with the content. Mai.
Okay, wait. Give me a couple of seconds.
All right, no issue. Can you guys type in the screen, where are you right now? Type in the, not in the screen, type in the chat. Where are you right now? I start first. I'm in Bandar Utama, PJ. PJ. Everyone tell us, where are you right now? Danish Puchong, yeah, you should be near to Nur Hadia. Campus, nice. Kingdom of Bahrain, wow. Welcome, international student. Puchong, yes, Hadia is in Puchong. How about the rest? Pasir Puteh, Kelantan, wow, nice. From East Coast. Sri Iskandar Perak. Azri. Ilham, Unit 10 Putrajaya campus. You must be staying in hostel, I suppose. Where else? Come on, come on. Tell us where you are right now. Kulim Kedah, Afi. Oh, you are somewhere near Ragunath. Any more? Come on, 3 more before we kickstart. Where are you right now? Type in the chat. Okay, let's get going. Maya, are we ready with the slides?
Yes.
All right, let's flash the slides. Okay, so I have just introduced the three of us. Let's move to the next slide. All right, this is what we are going to cover today. We have actually passed the first two stages, joining of participants. I'm sure some of your friends are still logging in as I speak. Opening address, that was it from me. And I'm going to cover how to beat exam anxiety, follow on by my Sarah, talking about time management. Actually, time is enough. You just need to know how to manage it. And then about 9:30, study smart and not hard. Yeah, I also want to be a student that studies smart and score A. So let's hear from Noor Hadia later on. About 9:40, we'll have a short Q&A session. So please type your questions in the chat as we go along. All questions are welcome. There is no good nor bad questions. Every question is valid and we try our best to answer them. And then we'll end about 9:55 or so. All right, score run will be given. Score run credits will be given, but we have to ensure that you stay on for the whole duration. So the link, the form, Google form for the score run will be given right at the end, right after the Q&A. So stay tuned until that. All right, let's move on. How to beat exam anxiety. Next slide, please. Exams are high pressure situation. Imagine students, you are inside this instant pot. I don't know what brand it is, but doesn't matter. You imagine you're right inside there, and I close the lid and I secure it and I start the temperature to the high. And it goes on 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, you are inside. This is examinations. I say it from experience. Although I look old and mature, but I'm also a student. I'm doing Master of Counseling. That's why we are training in Unit 10. I also have been in my fair share of high pressure cooker situations. Rules are rigid. Time, the exams I go through is always 3 hours, not more, not less. And then heat, I always feel the heat, and almost everything is non-negotiable. So this is the place where you have to perform. And today we hope that what we share will help you prepare and be able to perform well inside this high pressure situation. Next. When we are stuck in a high pressure situation, we might experience a phenomenon called choking. In psychological terms, choking means you are experiencing three very heavy emotions: stress, anxiety, and worry. These three emotions are in the high pressure cooker at a high amount, a lot of high volume. And when we are in this stage, it's almost like this person. You cannot think properly, you cannot act properly, you cannot answer your questions properly because working memory is depleted. Hence, your performance during the exam will be highly, highly negatively affected. What we don't want to happen to you. That is why we put up and design this short but hopefully meaningful webinar for you. Next slide, please. This is an author, a very old-time author. I also haven't met him before. His name is Edward R. Murrow. He said the best speakers know enough to be scared. That means professional speakers, the best, the top TEDx speaker or TED speakers, they are also very scared before they go on stage. There's one difference. The difference between the professionals and the novices is that the pros have trained their butterflies in their stomach to be able to fly in a formation that they can control, almost like a drone. Like you control a drone, you should be going to the direction that you want it to go. So in short, if you want to reduce exam anxiety, we need to have good, very good preparation. Next slide. And students, ladies, gentlemen, there are three main fears that might hamper our exam day performance. Fear number one is fear of the unknown. You do not know what to expect. You do not know what the questions will be. You do not know how your physical and mental condition will be on exam day. This is fear of the unknown. Second fear is fear of inadequacy. I have this fear a lot of times. I fear that I'm not well prepared enough for the exam. I fear that I cannot remember everything. I fear that I cannot answer on time. I also fear that I'm not as smart as my classmate, my Sarah and Noor Hadia. The third fear is fear of the sticks. This is not the stick that you eat in a San Francisco restaurant. It's actually the fear of what you believe How high is the stakes for the exam? And I don't know whether you are seeing this black screen because I'm seeing the black screen right now. Hadia, am I seeing the right thing?
Yeah, it was a black screen as well. Maybe it's a metaphor of life. Suddenly you black
Yes,
out.
that's the metaphor, the experience of choking. You know, during exam, I have experienced this before about 2 semesters ago. During one exam, I thought I was very smart, but halfway through, I have this black screen. That means my mind went blank. So let's get on to talk about fear of the stakes, which is fear number 3. Now I'm even fearful that the next slide will be black color, but let's see whether it is. Oh, it's not. Thank God. Thank God. Fear of the unknown. Manage it. The only way we can reduce fear is to manage it. We can't terminate it. We can't delete it. We can't say, don't come, don't come, don't come, or stop from coming. No, we can't. These are emotions. We all have it. But learn how to manage it. Let me share with you 3 tips. Make friends with the exam. This is the key. Fear of the unknown. Imagine you go to a new college, Uni 10, you are a first semester, first year student. You do not have a friend. You come from maybe very far. East Malaysia, you do not have a schoolmate who comes to the same university. They are all somewhere else. And you do not have a friend. So you have fear of the unknown. I don't have friends. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to eat with. I don't know. I don't know. I only know I'm a student at Uni 10. The best way is to make one friend. One only. Start with one. Then slowly you have 2 friends, 2.5, and then 3. Same goes to managing the fear of the unknown for exams. Make friend with exam. Hello, exam. I want to make friend with you. What are the few ways? There are 3 ways I want to share today. The first way is the next slide. Recreate exam conditions. You want to make friends? You want to make it friendly and safe for your new friend to start having conversation with you. In exams, I want to make sure that the table that I'm going to use for my take-home exam, I know nowadays it's all take-home, is the same table I'm going to use. I make sure this is my table. The chair I'm going to use, I make sure everything is the same. There's one thing I always need for my exam, which is this mug, because inside there, when I'm thirsty, I would need to drink a sip of 2. Otherwise, I will need to move out of my room and waste 3.5 minutes. In exam, 3.5 minutes is like 33 minutes. And everything that you are supposed to use, your laptop, your mouse, your textbook, open book exam, your textbook, make sure they are all in the same place. When you study, when you do past year questions in the next 2 weeks, make sure they are looking exactly like the real exam conditions. That's the first tip. What's the second tip? Yes, second tip is something that I personally seldom do because I am shy. I don't know, not that I don't know what to ask. I have a lot of questions in my mind, but I don't dare to ask during the lecture. Please don't be like me. I'm a foolish student. Be a smart student. Ask your lecturer during the lecture. If there's no more lecture, ask them in the forum, ask them in the Google Classroom, ask them in the WhatsApp group. Just ask, 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 ask. I notice in my university, the top students always are the one who ask questions. I'm not the top, but I want to be the top. So I will start asking my lecturer, what do you ask? I know a lot of students ask for tips. Lecturer cannot tell you too much, conflict of interest, but ask for how would you envision the questions format to be like? What are the hot topics like Miss or Mr. Lecturer do you think we should focus on? Lecturer can point you to the right direction. So ask the right person, which is lecturer. Next, tip number 3. Yes, 2018. Reminding you to practice past year's question. It can be 2018, 2017, 2020, 2019, and so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. Ask your seniors, ask the people who have done it. Share the paper, PDF format. Whether you really do or answer the whole test questions, not really important. Remember, make friend with the exam. What you really do is get to know them, see their face, know how they talk. Even exam questions are like people. They have a way of presenting themselves to you. They have a way of asking questions. It doesn't go very far. Football means football. Football cannot be like Formula One. There are 2 different sports altogether. So that's tip number 3. Let's move on to find out how to reduce fear of inadequacy. You think you are not good enough. You think you're not smart enough. Tips, please. This is a movie I watched when I was younger. I'm not sure whether all of you have watched this movie called Rocky. The movie is just called Rocky. It's about an up and coming boxer, Rocky Balboa, Italian, who is supposed to fight his nemesis. At the time, it was acted by Mr. T, the nemesis. The highlight is, of course, when he knocked down Mr. T. But actually, there is another moment, few minutes of the movie that was so memorable when he was training. This was a scene. He was running up the staircase in Washington together with his dog, even though it was freezing cold. So to reduce fear of inadequacy, you need to think and train like Rocky. Again, I would like to share 3 tips. Know your gaps. Tip number 1. Don't jump over the cliff without knowing how far you can jump, without knowing how far is the gap. Knowing the gap in exam preparation means go through your exam questions. Just now I mentioned past year questions. Highlight or put a big question mark to all the questions which you cannot answer or don't even know what to answer. Even one word also you cannot put down. Those are your gaps. What to do? You can ask your lecturer. You can ask your course mates who are very good students who have prepared well enough. You can study. Nothing beats training. Nothing beats running. These shortcuts never really work. Know your gaps. Do something about your gaps. Tip number 2. Create a home stretch schedule. About 2 weeks from now, most of you will have your first paper. 2 weeks. It's not long, but it sounds quite long. Day after day after day, it will feel shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. This is the home stretch. If you run a full marathon, 42 km, this is the last 20%. If you run a 10 km run, it will be the last 2 km. It's so important. Create a schedule. Later on, my colleague Mai Sarah will tell you or give you some tips on what kind of apps and also what kind of schedule that will be helpful to you. Next, please. Tip number 3, study actively. Many people study. See, my textbook, I should be bringing and show you, but I use this as a prop. Imagine this is a textbook. Most people will study like this. They read, they try to read actually, but they fall asleep. And some of you, because it's so boring, so I better switch on and start playing games with my friends. They are calling me. And after 3 hours, I'm so tired. Tomorrow. That is not the right way. Active studying means you don't just read and fall asleep and get bored. You actually go to the back. You can start looking at the test questions and try to find your answer. You can just write keywords. If you can't find, put a big question mark and look for the answer in the text and then fill in the answer after that. This is active studying. Another way of active studying I see some students use is they verbally recall. They read a concept, a theory. Then they close the book and they verbally recall the theory. Study actively means they're actually almost like teaching themselves again and again and again. This is active studying. Use it, it will work 100% guarantee. Next, let's move on to find out how to reduce fear of the stakes. I want to tell you this. Next slide, please. Yes. It's a long journey, students. It's a long journey ahead. You are only in your early or late teens, early 20s. You are in the process of growing into an adult. Studying is just a few years of your life. I have been through many years of my life. Studying is just a few years. Even if you didn't do well this semester or this exam, it is not the end of the world. It is not. It's perhaps an opportunity for you to understand yourself better, a chance for you to pick up some skills that we share tonight, and maybe a chance for you to understand what your interests are. Maybe your interest is not studying certain subjects, but your interest is doing volunteer service or something else. Maybe your passion is in something else. It's not the end of the world. And next slide, your grades don't define you. Students, yes, you are students, but your grades don't define you. I was so disappointed when I got a B+ in one of my papers that I thought Oh, I think all my classmates got A. I got B plus. Ayya, I should have paid more attention in the lecture. Ayya, I shouldn't criticize the lecturer behind his back. Maybe he heard my criticism, so he gave me a B plus. But I overcame it, and thereafter all my subjects was just the maximum score, not 100, but A, lah, good enough for A. Because I overcame this and I realized it's not defining. It doesn't define me. I'm not B plus. I'm just me. So I borrow a concept from Tom Franklin. You can check him out on YouTube. Student success triangle. And according to Tom, he says students' grades is not the all and end all. It doesn't define you, like I said just now. Successful students are made out of 3 ingredients. They learn something from their studies, from their education. They create value, like people in the Voltan group, Raghu and Arfi. They create value by empowering Unit 10 students to offer themselves, whether it's within the community or outside of the university. Last, relationship building. This is so important that I've been working for many years already. I can tell you, this is so important. You can be a straight A student, but if you cannot build strong, respectful, trusted relationship with your workmate, like I need to work with Noor Hadia and I need to work with Mai Sarah. If we are loggerheads, you won't see us presenting this show together. So these 3 things make up successful student. According to one best-selling author, Scott Berkhan, I don't want to be perfect. I want to be useful. I want to be good. I want to sound like myself. Students, boys and girls, you don't need to be perfect, but be useful, be good, be yourself, but be your best one. Give your best effort. All right, next. As a conclusion, these are the 3 main fears that will dampen your confidence and your performance at the actual exam. So I hope the few tips that I've shared with you will be able to help you reduce these 3 main fears. And remember, it's not by listening to me for 11 minutes that will help you reduce your fears. It's actually taking the action, practicing. Not all the tips, you might not be able to do all. Pick two of the tips that I've just shared and practice it in the next 14 days. You will see higher confidence and reduced fears. With that, I will hand over the room to my colleague, Mai Sarah.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, everybody. I am Sarah again. I'm the SGU training counselor. So today I am excited to share with you about how you can manage your time, how you can control your time rather than time controls you. All right. All right. Have you ever feel that you try to be productive, you make to-do lists as you see here, trying to managing your time, trying to focus on what matters on you, catching up the deadlines, finishing your assignment, but all of them never work out? Or did you feel that time never enough? So let me tell you, time is always enough. Okay, but you must stay tuned and apply on what I'll be sharing with you. So how do we become a better time manager? So there is no a single book, blogs, hacks, scheduling apps that can straight away help to boost your time management without assuming that you have a certain set of skills. So having skills to manage your time is much more important rather than the effectiveness of all of these management tools. So let's look at this. Just like cooking, having an expensive set of knife, high-end kitchen equipments, fresh ingredients, foods, it doesn't make a person a professional chef. A person needs to develop a set of cooking skill, okay, in order for them to be able to use all of these tools, this equipment to become a professional chef. So same with time, we need to have skills to manage our time in order to get positive impact, not just in our final test, but also for our life in general. So all you need is 3A. So 3A skills that I'll be sharing with you. So the first A is awareness. So what is awareness? How you can develop awareness skills. So awareness is mean that you think rationally, and also at the same you understand that your time is limited. Okay, so to develop awareness skills, you need to do a lot of observation within yourself. You need to do a lot of self reflection. So it is important. It is very helpful if you have something to jot down, um, because you will need to, because it's within your mind, right? You have to observe like about how you handle your time. So there are three things you can observe or reflect about your time. So the first one, you can try to reflect on your peak performance time. So it means on the time that you can work the best. Okay, how you can find the time that you can work the best. So one way to do this is like breaking your day into like 3 to 4 slots. And then for a week, look at which slots that you are most productive and which slot that you are least productive. So from there, you can determine on which slot of time that you can work best, or you can put your energy to revise for your finals. Second way that you can develop your awareness skills is by treating your time uh, as if it is money. So it's same like when you do a budget for your money, you will allocate some for paying loans, some for saving, some for daily expenses, and more. So time is like money. You should allocate your time for things that you must do, such as to revise for your finals, time to sleep, time to eat, um, and you also need to allocate time for things that you want to do, such as a me time, time to exercise, time to have a quick nap. So try to treat your time as if it is money. Allocate which is for what and what. And also you can develop your awareness skills is by reflect on the time you use daily. So you observe the time you use for each activity you do in a day. For example, after you're finishing a project or assignment, or you finish your revision, you try to look at like how long you thought it will take, and how long does it actually took, and check whether if you will spend too much time on it or you spend less time on it. So try to compare between the time that you thought it will take, the how long it actually take, and whether you spend too much time or less time doing the activity. So when you have the awareness, you can develop on the second skill, which is arrangements. So what is arrangement? Arrangement is the part where you use the scheduling tools. Your design, plan, organize your tasks, your goals, your plans, in order for you to use time effectively. But bear in mind that it's not just about organizing your time, organizing your work so that it will control your life better, but it's about you taking control of your life. Then you structure your work around it. So how to do it? First, try to prioritize your activities and obligation. So it's not enough to just simply list out what to do. Okay, today I want to do this and that. All right. Here I have 4 categories of how you can decide on your priority. So these are based on 2 key factors, which is important and urgency. So urgency is something that you do immediately. Important is something that you don't do it immediately, but it has a significant effect in the long term. Okay, so what is the first priority you should put? is the thing that is important and urgent at the same time. So maybe like you have a finals in 2 days or 3 days. So it is urgent because you need to revise, you need to spend the 3 days to study. So it's urgent. And also it's important because it will affect your CGPA. So that will be for the first priority. And then the second priority should go to the thing that is important but not urgent, which will affect long-term goals. So for example, it's like doing scheduling your time, because it's not urgent, but it will affect you when you do schedule, when you do planning, what you want to do for this week, what you want to do for this month. So it will help you to achieve all the things that you want to achieve. And at the same time, it helps you to manage your work efficiently, and effectively. Okay, so it has a long-term goal. So the third priority should go to interruption, which is it is not important, but it is urgent. So it's basically for something like you're taking phone calls, replying your friends or families or colleagues' messages, replying to email. So it's not, some are important, but some are not important, but it's urgent. So you attend to that on the third priority. And then the last priority is the distraction, which is neither important, neither urgent. So it is like the thing that you do during flexible time, like doing house chores, buying groceries, going to the malls. Okay. So how to organize your priority is by using a calendar app. So I believe that everyone has phones, mobile phones. Everybody has mobile phone especially. So I personally will recommend this Google Calendar app because it have all the things that you need to manage it, to like sort out the things that you need to do. Okay. So for example, by using this app, you can label what you want to do, like doing your assignment, finishing a task, due dates, the date for the midterms, for finals, even for your daily routines. Like if you sleep, you wake up at 7, so you can put that wake up at 7. You have lunch, you have your meal, you have your time with your family and friends. You can label all of them, and then you can even color code them to differentiate between the work, school, between personal. Okay, and it will totally helpful if you can put a description, a detailed description in each of the tasks, so that you know that which one is urgent, which one is important. So if you simply put like, okay, do this at this time, do this, do that, it will not emphasize on which one is important, which one is urgent. Okay. And of course, if you feel like you're struggling to keep up with what you have set on your calendar app, you can always do it based on your ability. Okay. So always set a realistic goals rather than unrealistic goals, because it might end up be too challenging for you. Okay, so when you have awareness skills, you have arrangement skills, the most important and the most difficult skills that you might need in order for you to manage time well is adaptation skills. So what is adaptation skill? Adaptation skills is whereby it is a skill based on how much you can put up with distraction, and how much you can put up with changes happen in your priorities. So for example, like when you have your family members need your help to do something, if your family members need to were in an accident, okay, something happened when you are doing your work. So like what are some of the things that you can do for you to adapt to your time? First, you can try to do habit stacking. So habit stacking is sticking to the things that you do every day, and you mark it up in the calendar. For example, you know that every day you will have your meal at 8 in the morning, lunch at maybe 2 in the evening, and dinner at 8 in the evening. So you put that in your calendar. So you don't want to disturb that time, because that time is meant for you taking meals, okay? Or even maybe like sleeping. So you sleep at a specific time, maybe at 11. So stick on that. Don't change the habit, unless some of us might want to stay up all night. Um, so that might be you need to adjust your um, time a little bit because of the final. But if you have something that you do every day, so mark it out on the calendar. Just let it be the thing, you do it every day. Second is use a short burst of effort. So what does this mean? Short burst of effort. It means that when you feel overwhelmed doing your work, you need to do your work, so you put a maximum effort for around like 15 to 13 minutes doing your work at that time. So you just use that 15 and 30 minutes, do the work with maximum effort. That's why it's called short burst of effort. Okay, this is to avoid procrastination. And yeah, okay. So for example, like you feel overwhelmed because final test is coming up. So you take the opportunity at that moment, take your laptop, open your lecture notes, and study right away, just for like maybe 15 minutes. And eventually you will realize that you create that momentum, and you will tend to carry away to continue study, something like that. Okay. And create emergency plan. So what is create emergency plan? Means when you do the scheduling, you mark your tasks in your calendar app. Think about the best or worst thing that can happen. So, or the best or the worst thing that can interrupt your plan, so that you can come up with the best possible outcome for your emergency plan. And last but not least, our very good enemy, not good enemy, but our very bad enemy is social media. Okay, try to reduce time wasters, anything that waste your time. So it is sometimes good that for us to boost our dopamine level in our body by scrolling through social media, maybe to gain like a little bit of the excitement in our body to like continue doing work. But believe me, many of us, including me myself, we tend to indulge too much in it and end up in procrastination. So it's time for us to reduce our time spent on social media, especially because final exams are around the corner. Try to focus on our best to perform on the finals. Okay, so I believe that if each of us can apply awareness skills, arrangement skill, and adaptation skills, we are the best manager of our own time. So I'm gonna pass the floor to Hadia to talk more about tips to study.
Hello, everyone. Whoa, I am so nervous trying to start talking with you guys. Probably as nervous as you guys trying to revise for your exams. Ha ha ha, what a nice segue, huh? So, yeah, some people they usually start off with revising or planning a good plan, a schedule for their revising, and then that's it. Be honest with yourself. Are you actually trying to revise, or are you just trying to get that feeling that I am revising, and then you don't do anything about it after that? So let's get on into the skills needed to properly revise, to study. Yes, thank you, Mai. And most of the skills that most people will need to master is the effective reading, memorization, note taking, testing, time management, and organization. Those are, if you search for Google via Google, these would come up about how to properly study. What skills do I need to study properly? And exactly, these are the skills that will most likely show up. Effective reading requires a lot of critical thinking. Uh, that requires a lot of active reading, a lot of questions coming in up. Oh, wait, I also have to control the door to the Google Meet. So if you see me pausing from talking, it's because I'm trying to invite people to join in. So the effective reading is basically a lot of questions of you wanting to identify the arguments of the text that you're reading, evaluating a point of view, recognize any weaknesses. The questions of who, what, when, where, why, how, those are usually the questions that you may think of when trying to read a text, the text that you're reading. Memorization is also very important. Like, there's a lot of things that you want to remember about the key points of what you're trying to study, and most of the things required would include a lot of methods such as flashcards, those little cheat sheets that most students do. I've also done those before. Word association and mnemonics. What is mnemonics? We'll talk about that later. And then there is the traditional methods of note taking, very conventional, very clean. And I'll also talk about the best method of note taking. Not yet, my. Okay. And there's also testing and time management. If you notice, I didn't highlight testing and time management because they are one of the most basic skills that is so easy to master. It's and also one of the things that you already come up with. Testing, of course, the lectures giving you worksheets for you to work on, you going on Quizlets just to find out how or properly study using that. And then time management. My has already talked about the time management skills, whereby you have to prioritize certain skills, blah blah blah. You know the thing. And those three sites at the sites, the ever heard of SQ3R, mnemonics, and Cornell note taking. Those are under those the three skills that you want to master: the effective reading, memorization, note taking. So, Mike can continue. Thank you. So the SQ3R, have you ever heard of it? If you have, then that's amazing because even I didn't hear about this until I had to study for this topic. The SQ3R is an acronym that stands for, well, it's already on screen: survey, question, read, recall, review. It's very basic, and even though I've never heard of it, I have followed a few of these steps because it's a very easy way of reading. You probably have done it unconsciously. Survey is basically when you first glance through your notes, you use a method of either speed reading, you maybe scan or skim the text. Like sometimes for assignments, I just don't actually read the full article. I just scan for the right keywords. That's how you usually survey the thing that you're trying to study for. And then once you've scanned the text, you might come up with other questions about that. And that is, yeah, the question part. And you start questioning, like, what is the point of this text? Why did the author do this? And you also have questions about uh, what do I already know about this subject, or how does this chapter relate to the exam question later? Or you can also relate it if you're one of the technical students that you require a lot of using your hands, technicality. You can also do a question like, how can I relate what I read to my own experiences? And this action, the questioning, is related to how Jason mentioned earlier when you start reading, and then there's like you start going to sleep because there's no active pursuit because you just read that is just a passive action. Once you have the questions, then you are much more motivated to continue reading because you have questions that you want to be answered. And now that you have the questions, you start to properly read the text. I know, very boring, but it is required so you can answer those questions that you needed, because that is where the author wants to convey what they are trying to say. And that is also where you can also find the answers to the questions that you have. Now that you've read all of them, you've already find the link to the questions that you may have made earlier. You can now start recalling. Recalling is basically remembering and trying to focus on those certain key points that you took note earlier into a more active pursuit. Again, active. So during this moment, when you recall, you can make notes by then. You can make a lot of notes where you write down in your own words, your own understanding of what you have read recently into your own certain key points. So it would be easier for you to remember what you're trying to understand, like what the text is trying to convey, because now you have your own understanding of it. Not yet, mine. And then once you recall, you start to review the text. This review is like a culmination of all of the things that you have just done. It's basically the question and recall, a combo of that. You have the questions and you try to remember from the text what was the answer to this question based on what you have read recently, and then you recall. And this is where the thing where you have to start to consider, do you actually understand the main principles of the argument of the text? You understand what I'm trying to say here? Or were you able to identify all the main points of the text was trying to convey? So this is the point of time where even though you were so confident about, I recall everything, and maybe you did miss some things in the text. So try to make sure not to be too overconfident that you have recalled everything, and just continue reviewing what you have read, what you have made note of, in order to remember it properly. Okay, now we can go to the next side. Mike? Okay, next is the mnemonic devices. Mnemonic. It's a very funny word. The M is silent, I would know, because I googled it on Mr. Google and made him use the speech to talk, or the talk to the text to speech. Ugh, what is wrong with my mouth? And there are a lot of six mnemonic devices. Wow, I actually had to stop and count them down, even though I did remember it beforehand. But because I am on a limited time, I'll just choose 3 of the mnemonic devices here that is more prominent and more feasible for you guys to remember. First, I'll choose acronyms. Remember the SQ3R earlier? That was an acronym. An acronym is basically you creating a new word based on the first letter of the word that you're trying to remember. Like the SQ3R: survey, question, read, recall, review. Wow, even I remember, and I have a short-term memory. Haha. And another example, maybe it's related to some of you guys who are more mathematical, more logical. Maybe something like this: PEMDAS. Do you know? Have you ever heard of PEMDAS? It could be the PEMDAS means parenthesis, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Now, if you say that to me, I would look at you weirdly, because those terms, I only know a few of those terms, but otherwise, maybe for other people that, oh yeah, that's important. And so that's one of the acronyms that you can create based on those first letters of the word. And next, I would explain about rhymes. Rhymes require acoustic and auditory stimuli for you to remember. And maybe some people will say that, huh? Rhymes? What do you mean? Like creating a poetry or poem? And it may be funny to you, but we've we've experienced this rhyming mnemonic devices since young. You know that alphabet, A B C D E F G. Now that's a lyrical device. That's a jingle that you may remember. Maya is currently experiencing some technical problems with the slides, but I can still explain what the rhymes are. Oh, wait, there's also someone trying to enter. And yeah, that's basically it. The rhymes follow a certain rhythm, maybe a lyric, maybe a song that you may want to remember. Like, for example, the ABC thing. And the ABC jingle that you remember is actually the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star song. Did you know that? Or, like I mentioned earlier, like sometimes people can also make it like a rhyme. For example, there's an example here. In 1942, Columbus sailed to ocean blue. That's for a historical memory, and for us, probably we don't really need to remember that. But you can create your own set of rhythm, your rhyme, just to remember. Maybe you can even follow a certain favorite song just to remember certain information about the text that you're reading. Very easy. Next is chunking. Chunking, when the first time I read about chunking, I was like, what does that mean? Chunk? But it's actually very easy to remember as well. You probably have done it before without realizing it. You know phone numbers? 014 222 333. You know what I just did? That's chunking. Chunking is when you classify those long numbers that you're trying to remember in a group of three digits. Like I said, 014 222 555. Now, you are able to remember those digits just by putting them in small groups. So, for people who have mathematical or maybe require a lot of factual or dates, you can use that to better remember the digits involved in those information that you're reading. Very easy, very, very easy. And those are the three mnemonic devices that I'll explain for this talk. So let's go to the next point. Now, the Cornell note-taking, very traditional, like I mentioned earlier. A lot of people use different methods to make their notes. Like I said, some people do those little cheat sheets where they just write everything on their notes as much as possible, probably because cheat sheets are allowed in some open book exams, and some people just do little notes where or highlight everything in their notes just to remember everything. But the Cornell note taking is like the easiest method ever. I've provided a very weak used up paper just for an example. Like at the top here, you can create the title. You can write the title up here, and then at the sides, at least 30% of the sides here, you can put it for the keywords, the important information of the text that you have. Maybe you can also put your questions here, or even you can put a glossary of words that you don't understand, like the phrases in the sentence of the note that you're reading that you're not familiar with. You can put it here, and so you can easily remember and ask your lecturer, what does this mean? Or you can just ask Mr. Google about it. What does this mean, Mr. Google? So you can just put down everything you need over here. So 30% space for keywords and questions. And then this beautiful part, this large part here, is the main notes, where if you're listening to a lecture, you can just write down your notes, but you don't have to copy 100% of what your lecturer is talking about. You can write it down in your own words, so it will be easier for you to understand, for you to memorize, and basically easier for you to process because it's under your own words, it's your own abbreviations, and maybe even the key thoughts that you consider down there. And then down here, you can put the summary. The summary is basically what you have understood from the main topic the lecturer has spoken about. So you can talk about preferably 6 or 7 lines. Don't make it too long because otherwise you're just gonna go long and have too many information overwrite. So during this whole note taking, it's better to do it with colors if possible. If you're the type that really likes colors, this will basically help you to focus properly of the key points or the words that your lecturer has conveyed, because some texts there are also different themes to it, maybe different subpoints, so you can properly distinguish which one is the more important topic that you want to consider or want to further study. So you can also have little notes where you may have opinions on, and if you have opinions changing, then you can update it very easily. And that's about it about the methods and skills needed for a revisioning session. You can do these various activities or little actions that can better improve your studying methods, your revisions. And that's about it for my end, because most of the time I will talk into a tangent. So now it's better for me to shut up and let you guys ask the questions, and I will, answer your questions.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Noor Hadia and Maisara, my two beautiful and capable colleagues. Yes, we don't have much time left, so let us quickly go into the chat, look into the questions. There are two questions from Jalila. I'll handle these two questions first. Let me read to everyone. Jalila says, sometimes during the final year, the spirit and interest in studies become lower compared to during foundation and first year. I can empathize. It feels like just follow the flow until the end of the semester or just answer and complete the exam question. This mood, right? So first question she asked, is it because the student has pushed himself hard during the early years? Early years. Is it because the student has pushed himself a little bit too hard during the early years? Hadia, Maisara, who would like to take this question? It's in the chat.
Let me read it over.
Just a little bit. Maybe because it has many factors why it could be that student has pushed himself during the earliest, because maybe they don't have enough resources, they don't really understand what they have learned, especially during this time of COVID that everybody learns through online classes. So they don't really understand what they actually learn, or they don't really know like what they have learned throughout the semester. So they push themselves so hard to catch up what they have learned. So they don't have enough time as it getting nearer to the finals. So it could be. So to answer your question, is it because the student has pushed himself hard? Yes. Big factor, big causes because of the kind of e-learning that we have today. That's my 2 cents. Jason, unmute your microphone.
Thank you, Mai. Yes, I want to top up on what Mai has shared. My personal experience is like running 21K. I've never run a 42K, but I ran 3 21Ks. On the second half is always very, very difficult. It's very, very tiring. Your first 10K should be okay because if you have trained for it, but your second half, which is the second 10K or 11K, is extremely, extremely challenging. I believe this is what the person, if this is you, Jalila, I believe what this is you are going through as well. In the second half of our long journey, our marathon, it's always less enthusiastic, more tired, less motivated. So I would still go back to the analogy of how to run the long distance run. We have to pace ourselves. We shouldn't start so fast and burn ourselves out halfway through and depleted. We should always start with a right pace, a pace that we can cope with. All right, let's go to question 2, Jalila. How to keep motivated and in high spirit? How to keep motivated and in high spirit in studies during the last semester of the year? Means you are probably in 3rd year and you are in the last semester. Hadia, would you like to take this?
Sure. How to keep yourself motivated and high spirits, huh? Very difficult sometimes. It's very hard to make yourself happy because there's a lot of things to do. The FYP, the final year project, probably is maybe burdening your thoughts. But you can also take this as an opportunity to make it like I can finally reward myself after all of my studies are done. You can motivate yourself by having a set goal where you want to aim right after your studies. You can probably already start planning on what career you want and what other activities that you can finally do after your studies are done. Those are the plans that you can create just to reward yourself for all the hardships that you have gone through after all of those very long hard semesters, the previous semesters. And probably you can also invite out your friends to maybe a study group or maybe even a nice night out dinner just to motivate yourself and also keep the motivation and the the charisma with everyone else. Does Mai or Jason have a different opinion?
Totally agree with you, Hadia. We have to go to the next question. Thanks for the question, Jalila. Very,
Thank
very
you.
sound questions. Next comes from Hidayah Sharil. I'm always overthinking that I will fail the exam before taking the exam. How can I overcome it? I will take this question. Good question. Remember when I shared about the 3 main fears? The second fear, the fear of inadequacy. This points to you having a fear that you are not good enough, not well prepared enough, not smart enough, just not good enough for the whole thing. I had been there. I had a subject that I didn't like, and I feel that this subject I still surely won't score. I might get a B or B minus. So I was also thinking negatively. So go back to what I shared just now. Train like Rocky. We have to train more than the 10 kilometer. If we join a 10 kilometer run, we have to be able to train and run for 12 kilometers so that when we go for 10 kilometer event, we know we can do it. One more thing I want to share with you, which I didn't share just now, is a bonus tip. If you are fearful, take a piece of paper, write out all your fears. I am scared that I will fail. I am scared that I will get D. I am scared I cannot remember. I am scared about this topic. I'm scared about this, da da da. I'm scared and I'm scared. Write it down all out right before or the day before you go for the exam. It will help. It's also what we sometimes do with our clients during counseling, that we ask them to express their deepest fears. It has worked before. Research has proven it. Try it. Try it, Hidayah. Thanks for the question. Well, there
Yes,
are
I something
Yep.
to the question, to your answer. So sometimes because when you're overthinking, at the same time you're feeling overwhelmed, right? So there's one thing that you can always do is try to reach out to someone, find someone that you can talk to, express whatever you're feeling, so that there are like one rock, one burden lifted up, so that you can focus taking your exam. So that's is one of the way. Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
Yes. Come and look for us. Come and look for us. Tell us your fears. Tell us your worries. Tell us your deepest secrets. We take
Cannot
everything.
go if you cannot feel like you cannot talk to your family or your friends. It always helpful to talk to strangers like us.
Yeah, we are strangers, but we are compassionate and empathetic. All right, next question. Hussein Abdali, I have a problem of getting overwhelmed during the final exams. How can I overcome it? Do you mean that during the exam, within that few hours? If you can add on, it will be best. It will be clearer. I have a problem of getting overwhelmed during the final exam. So I will take it as you are overwhelmed during the 2 or 3 week exam period. How can I overcome it? Mai, Hadia, any insights? Do you want to reply to Hussein? Yes, during the exam period, the 2 to 3 weeks. Again, recap. I would like to take it up first. Recap
Mhm.
the three main fears: fear of inadequacy, fear of the unknown,
Yes.
fear of the stick. Fear
So
of the stick. All these things are the ones that is making you worried and feeling overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is a feeling of us not able to cope with whatever is in your mind. One thing that we are very prone to thinking is thinking negatively. Do you know humans, we think more negatively than positively? Even though
mhm.
you watch 1,000 hours of motivational videos on YouTube, you still think negatively. Me too. Me too. I'm included in this. I also have this. Prepare well, rest well, use the tools that some of us share and study skills, use the techniques. Do your best. If you train well, prepare well, rest well, go for the race. Whatever the result, it is not the end of the world. Ma, you want to add something?
Yes, please. It's good that you mentioned about that because negative thinking. So there's like a couple of way to see when you feel overwhelmed, or when you have a negative thought. Is that when you have a negative thought, there is a um, time that you might rejecting you ignoring the positive part of yourself. So you're focusing on the solely on the anxiety of going into the exam rather than looking providing a room to explore that okay you have time to do other thing, you have time to chilling, you have time to talk to with people, but you're focusing, you narrow down your focus on like one thing. You don't provide a room for yourself to discover like what else is there.
Thank you
If
for
you
adding
think
up.
about it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. We would like to take one final question due to the time. How can is Irfan Ismail's question? How can I confirm that I'm being productive rather than just keeping myself busy? Because I'm studying in stress lately. Sounds very stressful. Hadia, would you like to give your 2 cents?
Can I confirm that I'm being productive? That's a very difficult, like, you know that you are aware that you're feeling stress and you're already piling up that stress by thinking that you're just keeping yourself busy. I do need a bit more detail about you saying I'm being productive rather than just keeping yourself busy. What do you mean this productive being you decided to clean your room or you do other activities just to keep yourself busy? Uh, I want more details on that.
Irfan, you can always unmute yourself and
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
up.
yeah.
It will be helpful.
But if you're not comfortable speaking, you can also just write in the chat. We'll follow your comfort. Don't worry about it.
While we're waiting for Ifan, we would like to say thank you to everyone for your questions. Okay, Ifan has replied.
You usually try to study but seem cannot to keep up with your studies. Well, a good way to see if you are actually making progress is following that syllabus. Did you actually you can make a checklist from that syllabus whether or not are you actually moving on from those topics that you're studying, and if you actually understand from those syllabus if you actually understand the key points of that of what you're trying to study. And if you see that you are not understanding the text, then it means that you have not progressed much, but at least you are trying. Don't discount the fact that you say that you're trying to keep yourself busy, having that illusion of you are not studying, but you are actually. It's a struggle, yes, but try to keep account that even though you're struggling, you are attempting, you are doing your best to keep and retain that information that you're studying about. So don't discount yourself too much. Uh, at least you're not just having that illusion of you're already making a plan and then you just sit there a couple of hours ruminating about the topic that you're studying and not moving at all. And that's where you can say that no, you're not actually studying, you're just having that illusion that you're studying. But if you're saying that you are studying and there is a small few progress, but there is at least a progress there instead of just stuck in one place. If you can understand what I'm trying to say here. Jason, Mai, do you have any other perspective on this?
Mai, anything? All right. Yes, no, Hadia, her words are always making sense, and I learn a lot from her as well, personally. Irfan, I just want to say something to you. Yes, thank you for asking the questions. I would like to say something to you. You have done extremely well to turn up tonight. All of you, not just Irfan, but especially Irfan. I can feel the stress, although I didn't see you on video yet. One of the things that might be able to help you out a little bit to feel better, to feel lighter, get in touch with us. Check out our contact number in our Facebook page. And that's our job, not only doing online talks like tonight. Our main job is actually to give guidance and counseling and support to all Uni 10 students. That is our main job. We are not doing DJ work or YouTuber. We are not. We are not paid to do that. So congratulations, you have taken a bold step to come and pose this question. It's not easy to even pose a question when there are so many people around. And yep, Mai has said to maintain exam mode or avoid distraction, be aware of the time you have and how you can allocate. Yes, allocating time. I allocate time to practice, to do practice questions, to exercise, but not to eat. I know my eating time is around the same time. But it's extremely important to know that you have just a limited time during exam and you have to chunk them, shared by Mai just now, chunking them. Set your time in blocks. 8 to 10, revision. 10 to 10:30, entertainment. Yeah, you need entertainment. 10:30 to 11, maybe journaling if you are doing journaling. So make sure you have your blocks of time clearly, visually stated in use calendar. Use calendar. They are all the tools available to you. I like to read one called Confession. Yes, Muhammad Alif Akmal. Last midterm, I didn't get enough sleep and dozed off 10 minutes just before the exam and began and woke up 40 minutes later. It was a nightmare. Alif, if you are still around and willing to share by using voice, your experience, I think it will greatly benefit all of us. If you can, it will be highly appreciated.
Honestly, we're already appreciative that you would even want to confess this to us in the
Yes,
open.
thank you so
So thank
much.
you so much for your bravery of confessing
It,
this.
it must be a very scary
Yeah.
experience. All right, students, staff, friends, and maybe there are some people who are not even belonging to the Uni 10 family, but all are welcome. I want to remind everyone tonight. First, I want to thank everyone for your participation. It's truly a grateful moment for us to share. We are not experts. We are not saying we are a four-pointer students. I don't know about Hadia and Mai, but I'm not. We are not. I'm not. But we are here to share, to help, to find the resources for you. And also as student guidance unit, we are working Monday to Friday at 10, from 10 to 5 to wait for you to come and look for us. Next Friday, same time, 9 p.m., we'll have a similar sessions. Although I say similar, I won't say it's the same because I know each time I share, the stories might come out a bit different. Even if you come again next Friday, I believe you will have a different experience. Those who still have questions in your mind, please join us again next Friday. Those who have enjoyed this experience, this session, please tell your friends to join next Friday. Google Meet has a big limit. We can store up to 100 participants. Tonight, we are just about halfway there, 42. we can store 60 more, 58 more. So bring your friends next Friday, same time, same platform. Look out on our Facebook page. There will be a link given. And now I would like to share something I believe some of you are waiting, which is the score run credit. How do you get score run credit? Here is the link. Oh, I think I need to check time. Time
Yeah.
is 10:20. Okay, I typed this earlier. I didn't know we will get so many interaction. Registration will close. So
Maybe till
listen to.
11, possibly,
Okay,
because we,
registration will close at 11. So I will work overtime, or no, our colleague, somebody will work overtime to wait until 11 o'clock. Colleague Yana, if you are listening, sorry, it's suggested by Hadia, not me.
I
But
already
we
suggested
were,
in WhatsApp. Don't
yes.
worry, I got
All right.
permission.
So students, click the link, register, fill in your details, make sure the details are correct. Lately, we have been getting some wrong ID, matriculation ID. How can you get it wrong? We want to give you your score and credit. We have ample in the stock in the storeroom. We want to give it all to you because you deserve it. Without delaying any more time because it's coming to exam, we need to have good rest. So tell your friends, if you like it, at least give us some motivation and maybe put a thumbs up sign or just a thank you or just I love you also can, or this also can. And yes, colleague is saying don't forget to check before you submit. Okay, yes, don't forget to check your name and metric, the two most important information. All right, Mai, anything to add before we wrap up?
Nope.
Hadia,
Good luck. Cheers, everyone. Good luck with your exams.
good luck. We hope to see you again next Friday. If you have more questions, bring it on. We are more than happy to share our perspectives and experiences. All right. Signing off, Student Guidance Unit. This is the Lighthouse Show. Jason, Maisara, and Nur Hadia. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye
Everybody.
bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
Thank you for
for
joining.
Bye
Thank you for
bye.
watching.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And I will also stop the stream on Facebook.
Thanks,
Follow on
Afika,
Facebook,
Thank
Arfi,
you.
Lighthouse Show.
Ilham, Jalila, Muhammad Azizi, Nur Iliana, Danish,